Imagine an empire so feared that entire cities surrendered the moment its army appeared on the horizon. An empire that skinned rebellious kings alive, built towers from severed heads, and turned terror itself into a weapon of war. For nearly 700 years, the Assyrian Empire dominated the ancient world, from the Persian Gulf to Egypt, from Anatolia to the deserts of Arabia. 3 continents trembled when the name Assyria was spoken. But here's the terrifying truth. This empire didn't collapse because it was weak. It collapsed because the entire world hated it, and the lesson they left behind may be more relevant today than ever before. How did a small city-state become the first true superpower? Around 1350 BC, Assyria was nothing more than a modest trading city on the banks of the Tigris River. Surrounded by giants like the Hittites, Babylon, and Mitanni, Assyria was weak, isolated, and forced to pay tribute to stronger kingdoms. But while the great powers exhausted themselves in endless wars, Assyria waited. Then came a king named Ashur-uballit. He transformed Assyria from a forgotten city into a rising military state, not through diplomacy alone, but through iron. Why were the Assyrians so feared? The Assyrians understood something centuries before the modern world did. Fear can conquer faster than armies. When Assyria captured a rebellious city, punishment was designed to terrify everyone else. Kings were executed publicly. Populations were deported. City walls were covered with the skins of rebels. Entire regions were burned to the ground. And the Assyrians didn't hide these acts. They carved them into palace walls. The message was simple: resist Assyria, and this will happen to you. Soon, many cities surrendered without even fighting. How did Assyria build the ancient world's most powerful military machine? The Assyrians didn't just build armies, they built systems. Professional full-time soldiers, advanced siege engines, military roads, courier networks, provincial governors, mass taxation systems. For the first time in history, an empire could control enormous territories directly from the center. Under kings like Tiglath-Pileser III, Assyria became a true centralized empire. Conquered populations were relocated across the empire. Local kings were removed. Assyrian governors ruled instead. The result? A machine designed for endless expansion. What happens when an empire becomes too powerful? By the 7th century BC, Assyria ruled the largest empire the world had ever seen. Babylon fell. Phoenician cities paid tribute. Israel was conquered. And eventually, even Egypt bowed before Assyria. The conquest of Egypt shocked the ancient world. No Mesopotamian empire had ever achieved this before. Gold, silver, rare animals, cedar wood, ivory, and tribute from across the known world flowed into Assyrian capitals like Nineveh and Nimrud. At its height, Assyria seemed unstoppable, but hidden beneath its victories, the empire was slowly bleeding itself dry. How could the most brutal empire also preserve civilization? Then came Ashurbanipal, one of Assyria's most fascinating kings. Unlike many rulers of his age, he could read and write, and while he was ruthless in war, he was obsessed with knowledge. In Nineveh, he created the ancient world's greatest library. More than 30,000 clay tablets were collected from across Mesopotamia. History, science, astronomy, medicine, religion, mathematics. Without this library, much of ancient Mesopotamian civilization would have vanished forever. Even the Epic of Gilgamesh survived because of Assyria. But while Ashurbanipal preserved knowledge, His empire was beginning to collapse. Why did the strongest empire on earth collapse so suddenly? The answer was simple. Assyria ruled through fear, but fear does not create loyalty. For centuries, the empire had destroyed cities, deported populations, and humiliated nations. When Assyria weakened, nobody came to save it. Babylon rebelled. The Medes rose in the east. Former enemies united, and in 612 BC, the unthinkable happened. The great city of Nineveh was besieged. After months of fighting, the walls finally fell. What Assyria had done to countless cities was now done to Assyria itself. The palaces burned, the temples collapsed. The population was massacred or enslaved. The empire that terrified the world disappeared in a matter of years. Why should we still care about Assyria today? Because the Assyrians changed history forever. They helped invent centralized government, professional armies, imperial administration, psychological warfare, mass propaganda. Modern empires would later use many of the same methods. But Assyria also left behind a warning. An empire built entirely on fear eventually stands alone. When the Assyrians were strong, the world obeyed them. When they became weak, the world destroyed them. And maybe that's the real lesson of Assyria. Power can build an empire, fear can expand it, but neither can guarantee it will survive. Because in the end, no empire can rule forever through terror alone. What do you think? Could an empire built on fear ever truly survive? Share your thoughts in the comments. And if you enjoyed this journey into ancient history, don't forget to subscribe for more stories about empires, power, and the forces that shaped our world.